we doing today? Yes. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Yes, she did. Hey y'all, good morning. Well, it is a cold day here in North Carolina, but the sun is shining and it's absolutely beautiful. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving, but in the midst of all of our fun, I forgot to do our garden tour for November. So I am just 2 days late, but that's okay. Better late than never. But this weekend got super cold on Saturday, and it has changed the garden so much. So we are going to take a look around the garden on how things have changed for this winter. But I also want to show you some inspiration that I have going forward to the winter, into the spring, and some different ideas that I have in our garden. So stay tuned for that, and we'll go over that at the end. But I can't wait to show you our fall garden. Okay guys, so we'll just start over here on the front porch, and I wanted to show you my green stalk, and look what we have here. It is December the 2nd, and we have a strawberry that is ripening. So this part of our house is south. As you can see, the sun is bright and shining this morning, and this green stalk does so good here. We have our chives growing here, and they are just gorgeous. All of our strawberries, and then I planted some radishes, and they are doing really good. So if you want to have like a little quick, easy something to grow with your kids, plant some radishes because they grow super fast. So they're super satisfying to grow. It's kind of hard to see down in there, but there they are. And I just popped some seeds down in there, and I've just been keeping them watered, and they are doing so beautiful. Here's some little lettuces up here, and it's just for fun, guys, you know, just to have something green here in the winter, but it kind of makes you happy when everything else is starting to get really brown. So the green stalk is doing really well up here on the front porch. Our little planters from fall are still blooming. Here's our little mums and our little pansies, and they are super pretty, and our kale have just like tripled in size. They're so beautiful. So I want to get these little mums put out into our woodland area, but we're just going to enjoy those blooms just a little while longer. Here's some more of our fall planters that we have here on the porch, and we have our sedum and our pansies, and then we have our geraniums, which are super beautiful, and they did really well with the really cold temperatures. So going down the stairs, our foxtail ferns are doing beautiful. I was kind of worried about them with the cold weather, but they did not have any repercussions from the cold at all. They're doing good, and our pumpkins are doing good. So we're going to get ready to give those to our chickens, and then we're going to just head off down the porch here. Okay, so I'm trying to steady a cup of coffee and having to get on to the dogs, but they really want to be out here too. So let's go around to the front of our yard where we planted all of our new little plants, and we'll go take a look at those. So this is the new planting area over in our woodland area. And as y'all remember, we planted the Evergold Carax grasses, and they are doing beautiful here, just that little pop of variegation. Then we have our gardenias, and they are doing really well, and they did really good with the cold. Now over here in the back, we have our cleome, and as you can see, it is all wilted down from the cold weather, but it'll be okay. It'll come back next year in the spring. And then over here, we have our false hollies, and they are doing beautiful. And we're going to make some arrangements with those for our Christmas centerpieces. And then over here we have a white chrysanthemum that we planted, a Beyond Midnight Bluebeard, and it's doing good. Nothing happened with the cold here. And then we have our camellia, and same thing here, no damage from the cold. And then we have our little burgundy chrysanthemums. You can see a little bit of color poking out there, and they are doing really well. It's kind of neat to go around and see which ones were affected by the cold and which ones weren't. And then we have more of our chrysanthemums right through here, through the woodland area. They're all kind of like tucked in with the pine straw, but they are doing good. And because it's been so dry, I have been giving them some water like every other day because we haven't had rain in a while. But everything is looking so good over here. Little yellow one still got some color on it. Nice and pretty. So next year these are going to be really pretty in the fall. We'll have all of these little pops of color right through here around our woodland area. So let's head to the front of the house and take a look at those flower beds. I have been loving the Hoselink. So my son was using one of my old hoses this weekend, and he said, "Mom, I know why you got the Hoselinks." He said, "Because that hose is terrible." I was like, "Yep, that's right, buddy." So then over here we have our little lavender miniature roses, and they're doing really good. And then our serendipity alliums and our boxwoods. And this over here, this is our Temple of Bloom. And you can see it's gotten a little color on the leaves. So that was probably from the cold, but it is doing well. Can't wait to see this get big and tall. It'll have like white flowers in August, and when the petals fall off, they'll leave like these little red, pinkish, where bracts is what they call it, and that's going to be really pretty, so it'll look like it has a second bloom. The boxwoods are absolutely loving their life, kind of getting a little bronze color on them. These are the English boxwoods. And then our alliums are doing really well. And these are our new boxwoods. And these are a Japanese boxwood. They are doing good. They have a little bronze on them as well. And then behind that we have our quick fire fab hydrangeas. And they're getting a little brown on the tips, so definitely the frost affected them. I'm trying to get my shadow out of the way. But they are doing really well. And they had already put on a little bit of growth. And then all of our muscari bulbs that I planted came up. And then they got cold, so we'll see what happens with those. Underneath there are daffodils as well. Our arborvitaes are looking good. We'll get those all decorated for Christmas. Got some really pretty impatiens here. And then going around this way, we have the same planting with the muscari. These are bigger over here because this is sunnier. And the quick fire fab hydrangeas. And our little puppy. Hey, Chinchi! And then over here, this quick fire fab hydrangea, I think the deer got to it the other day. So I got to get my deer fence back up. The catmint is doing beautiful. Was not affected at all by the frost. And then going over here, I feel like the definitely the hydrangeas are definitely more, the leaves have died back more since the frost. And then we've got some daffodils coming up here. And then our pink muley grass is getting more brown as we go along. And definitely the biggest change through here will be our Starry Night hibiscus. They are definitely going to sleep now. So all their leaves are falling off. But we'll wait to cut those back in the spring because they have hollow stems and we don't want them to fill with water and crack or anything like that. So this is looking beautiful. Let's see if I can stand back. Can y'all imagine in the spring when all of our bulbs come up through there? Remember, we planted 140 daffodils. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Winnie is not amused with the garden tour. Okay guys, so we're back here in the back and it's very shaded right now because of the house has a big shadow on the garden. But as we go through here, you can see the lavender looks good, and the lungwort and the corbels, and then our hydrangeas, they have already went to sleep over here. And then everything looks really pretty. I feel like the heuchera is like really loving this cold weather, as well as the corbels. They look really pretty. And then as we go through here, you can see this gladiola not doing too well. So we probably need to dig up those bulbs. We've got some more of our little foxgloves that are coming up here. And then one thing that I wanted to look at was the caladiums. Yep, they have gotten bitten back by the frost, so I want to try to see if I can save these. This one and this one. So this one still has some nice looking leaves, but the outer leaves definitely have succumbed to the frost. So we'll have to take care of that on another day. And then over here, this is our lace cap hydrangea. And it has definitely died back from the frost. Okay guys, we were wondering how the cleome was going to do in the cold. And this is what it looks like after our first frost. So it is turning all kind of black and squishy here. But over here, our little apricot rose is doing really pretty. It's kind of gotten bitten back a little bit from the frost, but it still looks really pretty. The leaves look really good. Pretty and glossy. And then our little zinnias, they were so pretty the other day, and now they're just all succumbed to the frost. But as you can see, this little heuchera over here is doing really pretty. Has its nice little fall color on it. And then also our little begonia. It was so pretty the other day. It was so bright and red. And now it's all squishy and mushy, so I need to get that clipped back. The tall guy arborvitaes are loving their life and doing great. Another one of our cleomes that we need to get cleaned up. And then also our lantana, which you all know lantana love the heat, so they did not like that frost on them. But one thing that's doing really well is the lamb's ear. They are doing super beautiful. Look how pretty that is. And the roses over here are doing so good. These are our David Austin roses, and they're doing beautiful. And then our vermillionaire, look, it got all bit back, and it's all kind of crunchy now. It's interesting how some of the plants will get crunchy and some of them get slimy. And then over here, our Rebecca is looking a little worse for wear. Hi, Winnie. And then over here, the zinnias have all died back. Over here, our apricot drift rose was so pretty the other day. But you know what? We're supposed to warm up. You kind of wonder if these plants will just kind of bounce back in a couple of days. And then our lamb's ear is beautiful. And look at this. This iris has surprised me so much. Look at that big old bloom that it just had on it. It has bloomed so much this year. I had no idea that it was a reblooming iris. And it is such a pretty, like, smoky pink colors. Gorgeous. Okay, so this is what our cottage garden looks like right now. And one of the plans that we have for it this year is we want to continue this flower bed. And we're going to round the edges and kind of round it out towards here. So we'll clean up all of that and it'll look nice and tidy. We should have done that earlier this year, but we just did not make enough time for that. But Winnie is loving it out here today, aren't you, Winnie? Having a great day? Yeah. So we'll put cardboard down like we've already done, and then we'll put some topsoil, compost, and mulch. And we'll just continue our flower bed on. Okay, so over here beside the pool, you can see the catmint is doing really well. And this is our lavender, and it's doing good as well. We did have to cut some of it back this year because it got too much water on it. So they're kind of lopsided right now. Hopefully next year we can kind of train them a little bit better. And then we also had already trimmed back our blossoms from our little punch hydrangeas. And then you can see the pink muley grass is really brown back here. It's so pretty though when the wind blows. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then our little daisies are still doing beautiful. Look at it, getting all that sun this morning. So pretty. We also cut back our autumn joy sedum. You can see that there. And the little puppies are enjoying this warm weather. So everything's just kind of dying back. All the plants I had in here look like they finally have just decided to die. It's amazing that the catmint's still doing so good. My dahlias, all of these are dahlias. They have all died, which they still have the tubers underground. And then over here, we still have a hydrangea to plant. And this little hydrangea that I planted is doing well. This is another one of the little lime punches. And then we have all of this mess through here. But you can see our blushing bride hydrangeas. They are finally starting to go to sleep. But they've done really good with their transplant. So fingers crossed they're going to do well next year. And this bed is one of the beds that we'll be working on this winter. We're going to get all of the rocks removed and all of the landscape fabric, and we're going to put down topsoil, compost, and mulch, and I think this is going to be beautiful. But removing these rocks are a beast, so it just takes a while to get this done. Okay, so over here in our other shade bed, sometimes I forget this one on the garden tours. It's very interesting to see which ones of the hostas have succumbed to the frost, like this one has, but this one hasn't all the way. And as you go through here, the lungwort looks good, and the heuchera looks good, and the ajuga looks good, and this little fern looks good through here. This is the basil. It has completely died back, so we need to pull that up. But it is very interesting to see which things look good and which things are looking bad. This flower bed definitely needs to have some cleanup done to it. Okay, so my favorite planter of the whole year has finally died back. So this is the one that had the 2 white sun patience in it, and it had the 2 euphorbia, and it had this variegated ivy, which we had this inside at one time, and then we brought it outside. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull up all of this. We're going to leave our ivy because I've had it out through the winter last year. And we're just going to plant some pretties around the base here. And I think that will be absolutely beautiful. Are you wanting to play? Are you wanting to play? Yeah, sweet girl. Okay, guys, so let's head to the back. But we've really loved these chairs this year. And I can put a link to them in the description down below, and we don't have to bring them in. They're just poly furniture, so they're not like wood or anything, so they'll be fine out here through the winter. So these are our foxgloves that I have been growing from the little seedlings that have came up in the flower bed. No, Winnie. She usually doesn't mess with these. I think she's only messing with them because I'm over here, because we know that these are poisonous, but she's been really good about not messing with the plants. But I sent my dad home with 4 of these, so we'll see how they look in South Georgia. But I've been planted them in our little planters from Epic Gardening, and these are super, super sturdy. Yeah, I know. You want to see that? She's jealous. And they have the root pruners on them. So as you can see right here, the roots right here will kind of prune as they grow down. And it has this hole here, so when I was getting them out for my dad, I just pushed it up and the little seedling just popped straight out. But they are doing really good in here. See the little roots coming through? But you know, once you have foxgloves, you'll always have foxgloves. So if you plant them, make sure you like them. So the Angelonia has finally died back for the year, but it was so pretty, such a beautiful blue color right here. I just absolutely loved it in front of the bunny barn. And then look what we've been doing over here. So this is what we've been doing behind the scenes, guys. We've been working on getting our little picket fence put up. So Hardy was such a sweetheart, and he went and got these 4x4 posts, and he had put them in the ground about 12 inches, put some concrete and dirt and watered those in, and we have our posts set through here. So this here is 8 foot long on this side with a 4-foot entrance right through here. And then we have another panel which is 8 foot long through here. And then 8 through here, which fit perfectly because the bunny barn is an 8x8. And then this is where we're going to be putting our raised beds. So he just got these done the other day because on our first trip we ran out of concrete. So he just uses his post hole diggers, digs about 12 inches, and then puts these down into the ground. So they look very, very good. And I told him, I said, let's wait on putting this panel on until we get the beds put in here, because it'll be easier to maneuver the beds through this hole instead of having to lift the beds up and over. So it's looking really good. I think everything has set really well. So we got these posts on the corner here, and he did a fabulous job on all of this, and I can't wait to get our beds in. So this is my really, really big raised bed. This is my Vego garden bed. This is the one that's 32 inches tall, and I'm very excited about that because I can just work and it'll be hip level. There's my hip. I won't have to bend over at all. And then here is our little shorter bed. I think this one is 17 inches, and this is the one from Epic Gardening. But they're very similar in style and very similar in how you put them together. So I think both of them are going to be great here in our little garden. Can y'all just imagine with me next year as we're walking through here, and we'll have our stone down on the ground, and we'll have our raised beds in here, and we'll just have all kinds of things growing that we can come out here and pick every day. It's going to be absolutely lovely. It'll be so much fun. I've always wanted to have a kitchen garden, and now we finally have it. So hopefully it will do well here, and we can have lots of things to eat. Going over this way, this is an area that we started to work on this fall. And as you can see, I went through here and put down the cardboard, and we planted 3 El Nino chatalpas in here, which are going to be absolutely beautiful next year. And then my daughter Savannah came out here the other day, added some more cardboard and some more pine straw. And then once we get all of our potting soil put in our beds, then we're just going to continue this bed on through here. So this will be a really pretty spot, kind of like the backdrop to our neighbor's property, and it'll just be a really pretty place that we can plant different things and just kind of experiment, see what grows well here. But right now we're just enjoying all this beautiful pine straw, and this El Nino has lost all of its leaves. That was the latest one that we planted. That was the one from Creekside Nursery, and these over here are from greatgardenplants.com. And they still have some leaves, but they're getting, you know, pretty brittle right through here. And then we have the other one right here. I just want to show you guys what they look like in the winter. So we'll see if they lose all their leaves and what kind of happens with them. I know Laura said hers kind of died back all the way to the ground last year. And then they kind of started coming back, and they grew really tall just in 1 year. So I'm really looking forward to that. So let's go back over here and check on our Spring Grove arborvitae. Okay, so here is our Spring Grove Western arborvitae, and it is doing really well. We had to put a little stake on it because it had a little bend. This is also another one that came from greatgardenplants.com, and it is doing so beautiful. So far the deer have not messed with it, which is awesome. And it has a beautiful smell. I wish this was big so we could actually cut some of it and bring it inside, but we don't want to do that to this little baby plant. But look how well it's doing. And I think that little bend that it had right there is straightening up, so that's looking really good. So we won't have to leave this on here forever because we do want it to get strong on its own. But it's going to be so pretty here. So it gets really, really tall, but it will have a lot of space to spread out in this area. And look at the beautiful backdrop of this holly. This is going to be so pretty with the green of the Western Arborvitae. And look at that, these beautiful berries. These are just wild holly trees that grow in our area. But this one's beautiful. So I'm thinking this is the female version. And then over here, we have another holly. This is just my speculation that this is the male version. But if I'm wrong, let me know because it doesn't have any berries on it. So I may have them confused, but that's what I'm thinking that it is. And then we have some more back here in our woods, and they just kind of grow native here. Our little chickens are doing well this winter. It's just a beautiful time of year here in the fall here in North Carolina. All of our muscadine plants have went to sleep. They didn't have very much growth on them this year. And then also over here, our apple tree is doing good. So the deer tend not to mess with the apple tree as much as they mess with the peach tree. So they like to get in here and eat off all the leaves of the peach tree. So I'm not really sure if we're gonna have peaches or not. And this one right here, they've broken twice. So we might just need to go ahead and cut our losses with this one because they keep breaking this main leader over here. Okay guys, so I want to show you in the front where we're going to be working on that I'm super excited about. Look at that pretty pine straw. We'll have to get in here and rake this up and add that to our new little flower bed in the back. Okay, so I'm going to start right here on our side yard. Y'all remember we had a tree cut down and then we had the stump ground up this year. So this is going back really good. Our centipede is growing over it, and every time I drive the lawnmower I keep driving over top of it to kind of push it down. And then over here our grass is kind of going dormant. You can see our neighbor has overseeded and theirs looks really pretty. But this is the area that we're going to be working on. So from over there where that little tree is at all the way through here, we are going to be doing like a mixed border. So just different plants through here. I'm not sure exactly how wide we're going to go with it, but this is going to be a really cool area to develop. And then we'll have a flower bed that kind of wraps around the electrical, well, it's actually not electrical box, but the water box there. So it's going to go through there. And maybe if I show you guys this way, we can see it a little bit better. So all of these water boxes. So it'll go from here all the way around, all the way in front of here, swoop around there, and then it'll follow the property line all the way down. So this is the area that we're going to be working on, and I think it's going to be super pretty. So we got to pick out our plants and decide exactly what we want to do. But we want to add some privacy and we want to add some color. And this is our last El Nino that we planted. So I probably need to get out here and give it some water. Yes, it is dry. Well, that's moist right there, so it's not too bad. I just watered it the other day, but you can see the leaves have died back on that. The little mugo pines are doing really well, but our junipers are not doing really well. So we'll have to figure out something different with that. But I'm super excited about this area. Can we just imagine like the different plants through here? So if y'all have any suggestions on what you think I should do, I want to do a mixed border. I want to have some evergreens and I want to have some color. So put down in the comments what you think would be pretty to do in this area. And maybe even some grasses like our neighbor has. So that is my plans for next year. Okay guys, so that's going to do it on this quick little November garden tour, just a couple of days late. But thank you for coming along with me, and thank you for joining me on this journey, because when y'all started with me earlier this year, we pretty much had nothing. So it's so neat to see how much we've grown this year together, and we're going to continue to grow as we garden here in our coastal North Carolina property. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a chance to get in your gardens today. Bye friends.